Rule 42. All persons more than a mile high must leave the court immediately.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Today's rule is rule number 18. Thoughts are there for consideration only.
We're coming off an awesome weekend up in Maine. We missed you on the weekend, Jen, but we took some of the... You had stuff with your daughter, right? You had the hand. Well, we had some of the crew up there. We got to see Giselle Jimenez in Waitress, and it was pretty...
So good. She is amazing. She, not just as a performer, but as like a person.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, Jen, you have to meet her. She's like totally a vibe. She made the kids' day. They all turned into freaking teddy bears and would not stop talking about their soft sweaters. And of course, all the boys had balls. So, they were all playing. Yeah, at frisbees.
Playing with their balls, as boys do.
Balls and frisbees.
And men do.
Hey. And the girls were all petting themselves.
The show was at the Algonquin Playhouse, which is like this historic theater. It's been there for 100 whatever years. And all these Broadway actors came up and they put on Waitress. And then Giselle was great. We met her with her afterwards, and it was just so cool. Everyone was so sweet. But I will say, if you haven't met her, she was on our show, but she's tiny. She's about 5 feet tall. She's like 100 pounds, and she's this powerhouse with this voice. And she totally stole the show. She was comedic. She was the comedic character, and she was amazing.
Oh my God. Dude, her and whoever was her opposite
Ogie
were the ideal freaking pair. You couldn't, like, every time I would like zone back in, it was because something was happening with those two that just had me dying. Oh, I love that.
There's one scene where, so she's this, I guess she's a virgin character, never met a man, or, she's longing for love but too afraid. So she eventually meets this little guy who they call this elf, and he's a great character too. And then it was great. She comes out and she's like walking funny in the scene. Remember, she's like, everyone's like, oh, the kids didn't get it, but all the adults were like, "Whoa, okay, we get it." But what a funny show, and she's such a kind person. So as we're leaving, like they had to do a rehearsal because they had a new lead coming in. So she's like, "I can't come out to dinner with you guys," but she's like, "But I want to come by. I have stuff for the kids," and she bought all the kids. Like Audrey mentioned, she bought Aubrey and Molly and Julie soft Maine shirts, and the kids loved it.
Oh, that's so
sweet. It was really sweet. And she's like, "Thanks so much for the support." But like, "Are you kidding? You are awesome." So that was cool. We went to dinner on the water, and kids all had fun, and we watched the Rangers win a playoff game. So all in all, it was a pretty cool weekend.
Oh my God, they were like close. So we all go out for dinner, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go to Guac and Roll. That's what we could agree to. So now we're walking around like fucking lost dumbasses because can't nobody find no Guac and Roll. We walk by the security guard standing by a wall, and he goes, "It opens in June."
Oh, no. That's the worst.
Yeah,
a lot of their places do that.
And apparently Maine, Memorial Day weekend is different than like the Jersey Shore or wherever else you are, because it was beautiful in the daytime. It was like 80 degrees. And then as soon as the sun went down,
oh, it's like freezing, right?
Everybody was freezing. We're like, jackets, hoodies, let's go. It was like 50 degrees. Everybody was like, what is this? But it was beautiful. Cool little sea town. I thought it was awesome. First time up
Then
there.
we ended up going to the restaurant that was like right next door to Guac and Roll.
Yep.
And it's like, this is not going to happen. All these places close at 9. It's like 8:50.
Oh my God.
There are like 11 of us. So walk up and I'm like, yeah. So what are the odds of 11 of us getting seated?
Well, I'll just talk to the owner, Larry, not Larry. And yeah, we got in. She didn't know his name, but she kept calling him Larry. He didn't correct you, so I guess that's his name.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But we got in, we got upstairs. He's like, I've totally been there. I have kids. We had a lot of kids. And then a lot of those kids were running around.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. But it was such good food. And once the play was over and you got all these Rangers fans with their Rangers gear on, we like fucking hightailed it over to their place again. And it was to the point where it was like, you guys can't just all stand at the bar with the 50,000 kids.
Yeah, and my oldest, Julie, she had a reality check because she sat at the bar next to Audrey, and the bartender's like, oh, you can't sit here if you're under 21. And I said, just out of curiosity, how old do you think she is? And she's like 15, and Julie was like, what? She's like, I'm going to be 18 in 2 months. She was like, there's a blow to her ego.
Good thing. That's a good thing when she gets older. Look young.
We said that, but kids, adults want to hear
No,
that. Kids
when
don't.
you're young, you
not,
want to look
yeah.
older. You want to be like, yeah, I'm 18. What?
Shot down. So
No drink for you.
that's it.
I totally win the weekend because while we were shopping, we went to this awesome store because my lovely, lovely child that I love so much, when I called and asked her to bring me some stuff, the child managed to pack me a bomber jacket and a pair of jeans that were not mine. And that was it.
Yeah, Audrey had no clothes. So
I had nothing but was in my trunk. So I had to go shopping, which I always look for an excuse to shop. So that was like, yay. It was just like I was hoping for a little something, not that I would have to do that much shopping.
right.
Hey, but shopping's always fun.
But in one of the stores, there were these like scents that smelled so good. So we go in, and Jules and Christine end up liking like these scents, and we're kind of like on a time frame because I think it was before the play. So we're like, well, we'll come back afterwards and get this stuff. So we made it back too late. The store was closed. And then the next day we were leaving. Oh, look, I love that store. Oh, look, it's open. Oh, look, a parking spot. I go, damn, but I don't remember what they liked, the scents they liked. And Mia goes, I do.
I love that.
So we ran in the stores and got the scents. We knew what we were getting. So it was in and out. There's parking right there. Like it was literally took me all of 2 minutes. So we get back in the car. Now we're driving. Now, mind you, we have all just put in random destinations.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where the fuck anybody else is going. And yet we all ended up in the same spot. We ended up at the same gas station.
And Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island.
In New Hampshire, yeah.
In New Hampshire. We ended up at the same gas station and we just hung out for a couple hours. And then Mia ended up in their car.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works.
But Christine was blown away because
Oh, yeah?
because we went back and the place was closed at night. Everything shuts down real early. Yeah. And then Audrey handed her this perfume.
Mia.
Oh, Mia handed it. She's like, oh, yeah, we got this for you. And Christine was like, are you shitting me? And she was really touched. That was really super sweet. So, yes, you did win the weekend for sure.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah.
And there you go. And today we're going to have a great show. Jenn and Audrey, we're going to have Marlene Rhein, like Rhinoceros. And she's a filmmaker, and it's going to be awesome. So let's hear her story.
Let's roll.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Hi, Marlene. I am Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
I'm Jen. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Jen. Nice to meet you. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, good.
Welcome to Rule 42. Can you hear us?
Thank you. I can, yes.
Okay. Awesome. So we are totally interested to find out how you heard about us.
Yeah.
Someone had suggested a website called Tink Media for guesting and so forth. So I went on there just looking for cool podcasts that I might align with. And yours was one that I found that I liked. So I reached out.
Yeah. Oh, we have a random streaker in the background every now and then. That would be Dylan.
One Dylan. He's just, yeah.
Welcome to our rabbit holes. So thank you for that. And we looked up so much about you and are so excited to meet you and hear more about your current project as well as your previous project.
Cool.
So lead the way.
All right. Well, I started out like just from the gate, like I was always into like music and dancing and film and creativity, and music videos were it was like the perfect kind of culmination of all of that. So when I started out, I used my credit card to shoot videos for unsigned rappers, and I choreographed everything, and then like 1996 came along. I'd only done a few videos, and I wound up directing what would be Tupac's last video, All About You.
Yeah.
Love
Which was-
Tupac.
It was crazy. It was like a $300,000 budget. I was like 26 years old, very shy.
Oh, that's amazing. You would not put very shy with Tupac in any video.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy. It was like I remember the pre-production meeting was in the Malibu colonies where he was at, and I met his mom and him, and there are all these dudes, and I had no idea what was happening. But anyway, it was crazy. And I wound up directing hundreds of videos after that. 2004, I shot a video for Amy Winehouse. We shot on Brick Lane in East London. That was like kind of before she blew up over here. And after a while, I was kind of, with these videos, it was like the trend was turning towards like boy bands and pop music. And I just was not feeling that at all. And I thought, this is the time where I want to tell stories that matter, make movies. So then I turned my attention towards independent film, and that's where I've been ever since. Made a few short films, web series. And now I am embarking on getting my next feature film made, which is called Who is Joi Seracha? And it's about this sensitive woman so traumatized by current events that she splits off into 3 personalities, but then becomes the unwitting subject of a documentary by her opportunist new boyfriend, who's really a situationship. And it's kind of like Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman sort of mockumentary.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so crazy. The situationship type conversation has been coming up lately.
It's interesting. It's kind of like we're in this like transactional society that's kind of more disconnected than ever. And a lot of people kind of use each other. It's like, intimacy, transactional. Real connection feels like something almost old school at this point. Like it's crazy,
Well, I think it's why people would be able to relate to your storyline, because a lot of people do kind of go and branch out into these different personalities based off of the people that they're around. So now you have no choice but to change your demeanor because you're in a business outing and you have to act with this face. And then you're with your family and you want to leave all of your work stuff in that space. So now you have a different face, but it's really not who you really are, because they're not seeing the stress and the weight that work is bringing, because you're trying to keep that away. And it just, so essentially people find a way to cope through life by creating these different dynamics within their own self and branching off into different personalities. So you have a very good basis there.
Thank you.
You know what you're doing.
I try.
Can we just add? Can we go back a little bit, because you mentioned you worked directly with 2 like legends who are no longer with us. Can you talk about the experience working with such high profile people, and how it was for you, and as a 26-year-old, how you could say, "Hey, Tupac, do this"? Like, how did that go?
That's funny. Yeah, I remember at one point I was on the set, and I wanted him to like dance, because like I thought it'd be good to get this dance, but he just looked at me like it was hundreds of people, and he's like, "I don't dance." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "What was I thinking?" It was insane. I couldn't eat that whole week. I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, I'm working with Tupac. It was crazy. Like, but in the end, like I remember being on set looking over at him at one point, and I just had this realization, like, oh shit, he's human. Like he's got vulnerabilities, he's got insecurities, and I saw that. I saw him being just human, and I thought, holy shit, like even you think of these people like icons, like that they're just fucking cool and impenetrable, but he was like a legit human being with insecurities and self-doubt. Like I saw it, and he was also super cool, and I hung out with him in his trailer, and he offered me a joint, and it was like, holy shit. I was like, is this happening?
Wait,
Is this fucking happening?
Please tell me you smoked it.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it.
You are my kind of girl.
Yes.
It was crazy. Sometimes it's just surreal.
Okay. I love that for experience-wise and for your profession, you were able to do the video. However, I think the fact that you got to smoke with Tupac is the cooler story here.
That is amazing. Yeah, I agree.
Weird. It was like in his trailer. Like you're sitting in LA in this trailer on set of the studio, and it was crazy. It was crazy. You know,
Do you have the best snacks ever?
that's a very important question. I don't know. I can't remember. But
That was a good joint then.
oh, it was very strong. I mean, trust me, these dudes, it was strong. Like I was rendered useless after that for a little while. But
That's what you get for asking him to dance.
apparently,
I got you.
yeah, payback.
Ask me to do something now.
And then like Amy Winehouse, she was kind of like had this like tomboyish vibe. She did her own thing. She at a certain point I wanted to get this angle and I was like, can you turn this way? She's like, no, I don't show that side. And it was like end of story, boom. Like she was very self-conscious about like her nose and being seen from the left side. It could only be the right side or front. So it was really interesting. But she at one point she showed up to an edit by herself, no record label people. I think it was Island Records at the time. She just kind of like, she was like her own person. She was a tomboy. She's like, yeah, man, it's fucking cool. I love it. Yeah, no changes. And she was kind of this like self-possessed tomboy. At the same time, she was talking about an issue she had with the guy. And it was just so, so evident, maybe because you've been through your own stuff. And I was like, oh shit, she's got daddy issues. Like the whole thing she was explaining with this guy was like, it was obvious he was no good for her and she should just like not mess with it, but didn't have the self-esteem in that department. Like she was this strong, tough ass recording artist. But when it came to dudes, she was like a little girl. Like that's the sense that I got. And it was really interesting to see her life play out after that. But she was like her own person, like streetwise, very cool. Very cool.
She owned who she was.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know how to be strong. That I tell my kids all the time that I'm so proud of them because they embrace themselves. And yeah, you know what? Not everybody likes it. And sometimes they get into their head about like, people don't like me, but they are who they are. And they're not like one of my kids walks around in cosplay with his daughter.
True.
And they will go to the mall. God bless his wife because she will go with them. She takes it for the team. And they walk around dressed up as characters and they own it. And because they own it, these kids get so happy and so excited and want to take pictures with them and like want to talk to them. And they're like, I know who you are. And it's the character. But to see that type of joy coming from them just being themselves, something that I would totally shy away from and be way too afraid to do, it's awesome. So
that's crazy because like when you see people, who's the sexiest person in the room? It's the one who's the most self-possessed. Like whoever is just owning who they are, like that's the most attractive thing. But we have in our heads, especially in modern American society, it says everything's outer. It's like how you look, like how attractive you are on the outside or blah, blah, blah. But really like the sexiest person is the one who owns themselves, who is like so comfortable. Like, this is who I am. Fuck you all. This is it. Like that is hot.
Yes.
Confident.
Yeah.
Just being confident in your own skin. Yeah. It really does make a difference.
It's a lot easier said than done.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We can all go into the room and be like, I am going to be the hottest shit here. I'm going to walk in with my head held high and my shoulders back. And then you walk in and you're trying to put a hoodie on.
You're like, people.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And to be able to like have these experiences with these names that just are world renowned. And I mean, not here anymore. So that's super sad. But like you got a moment with them and that is priceless.
Yeah.
Like people's time is priceless and you got some of that and no one will ever get that ever again. So kudos to you, Lee.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You go. Were there any good stories with Amy?
Not really. Like nothing really interesting,
I mean, the whole nose thing was interesting because I actually never knew that about her and not wanting to stand, which I totally get. Like it took a long time to
I definitely
nose.
feel like weird for my side views of my. I guess everyone has those little bits of
Everybody
things where
does.
they're like, I don't like this about myself, or you
But that's what I mean about like confidence. Like I've actually had people tell me that there was something wrong with them because some part of them wasn't symmetrical. And it's like,
yeah.
I don't really know that many of my parts are symmetrical, so I must be damn ugly.
I don't think anyone is symmetrical. Like I think like this.
I think everyone is so like self-critical. What people don't realize is that no one gives a shit about them. No one's thinking about you. They're thinking about their own insecurities, but we walk around just like this idea that we're so much less than perfect, that we're not worthy of anything. I think almost everyone is like that, which is such a shame if you think about the time we waste in life, like feeling unworthy when no one gives a shit.
No. And we're all going through the same struggles in our head, and no one realizes that we're all like everyone, no matter how famous you are, or whatever, we all have those insecurities in our head that it kind of like hold us back. But some people are a little better at hiding it than others.
I think when it gets down to it, we're all like scared third graders who are worried, class is going to pick on our outfit,
Yes.
But like Marlene said, no one really gives a shit. Like, just show up,
Yeah, totally. So my favorite thing in the world is dancing. Like I fucking love dancing, especially old school hip hop and house music is my thing. And I'll go into a club, which is in a way like the dance floor is my only real home, but I have so much insecurity when I go in because I think, what are they going to think? I'm white, I'm older, and I sheepishly walk in. But the only thing that snaps me out of it is the good music. And if good music comes on, I'm like, I own this. I'm possessed by the music, and then suddenly I'm not in my head and I'm just a spirit, and there's no humanness anymore. It's just, there's like nothing wrong with me because I'm just in the music, one with the music.
I love that. Experiencing it. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like our heads are like a prison, it's the scariest place.
And you try to get out of it so hard, but then you have something else pop up and you're like, oh wait, what about that?
Yeah. I think you have to know, like, oh, that's my mind. Thoughts are not real. They're there for consideration only, but don't jump on that train,
I like that. They're there for consideration only. I actually never looked at it that way. So that is a good point there.
Yeah.
So what was, Jen, there was another project that you had done as well within the independent film.
I made a movie called The Big Shot Caller.
Yes.
Yes.
And your passion was dancing. So you took like things that you loved about, like you knew that you were good at, and you created it into your life. So, and your storyline. So I would love to know more.
Sure. Yeah. I kind of do that with all my films. It's sort of, they're kind of a mix of like mental health and underdog stories and music and dancing and finding hope in the world. It's, that was my first movie. It's called The Big Shot Caller. It's about a lonely outsider who rediscovers his self-esteem through salsa dancing. And my little brother stars in that because he has a vision disability, but he was always this amazing salsa dancer. And I play his older sister who's into house music. And we shot it in New York, 2007, in 1 month. And yeah, that was amazing. I remember like just feeling so fucking alive when I was shooting. Like I'm doing what I love to. My head would hit the pillow at the end of the night. I thought it would be okay if I died tomorrow because I did this, because I'm doing what I love. Like it was so fulfilling. Independent film is so hard. You're limited. You don't have money, and locations get shut down. You got to think on your feet. But the collaboration that happens, being able, like this video just resurfaced recently with the behind the scenes of that movie, and I was watching and there was tears in my eyes because there was this part where it was like 4:00 in the morning. We just finished shooting. Everyone was delirious, but I was choreographing this dance for the key grip and the gaffer, and we were all doing this dance, and it was hilarious, and it was that camaraderie and that creative connection that I think is the reason I struggle all this time just to get the next movie made, and I do these crappy jobs I don't want to do, and I suffer through the isolation until I make my next movie, because it's that coming together for something creative that is so miraculous and exciting. I miss
magic. Yeah. That's the feeling that we all go for though when we're in like a unit and creating something. You want that magical kind of moment to happen where it's like, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. These are the people I'm supposed to be with.
Yes.
It's that experience, and not everybody knows how to feel that.
No.
So also, that's amazing that you're capable of feeling that, because some people get so caught up in, okay, now what's the next thing, that they forget to live in that moment there.
Yes.
Like experience a moment and be in it and let it, like, yes.
Yeah, I'm very proud that you were able to do that and bring that to fruition, and that is awesome that you can think on your feet like that, because I have problems with that.
What do you mean?
Thinking on my feet, like if someone threw me like and was just like, okay, you now have to figure out in the next like 30 minutes where else you can film the rest of this because we're closing these doors, I'd be like, for like 30 minutes.
I'm done.
Yeah. It helps being a writer, I think, because you're thinking, okay, where else could I imagine this scene? Oh, there's a cafe over there. Fuck it. Let's change it. Let's,
See, that's
yeah.
cool. See, that's that.
And then how would you get into, how would you get into those places? Like, do you just randomly like run up and be like, hey, we're filming this. Can we?
You mean at the last minute?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You.
Yeah, you'd send someone over from the crew or me or whatever, be like, listen, we promise to like buy all the food here after, or will you take $100, or will you, you try to offer them something, just say, this just happened. Will you let us film here?
Okay. They're still good at it. I mean, they shouldn't need the $100 because publicity, man.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
See,
Yeah.
they want to support you. You have to support each other.
There's a lot of good people out there. We forget about that, but miracles happen, and it's often because of the kindness of strangers. We get caught up in thinking about all the things that are wrong and how crappy people can be, but when it comes down to it in the moment, most people are pretty awesome and want to help out. And you discover that it's like being in battle and like coming out alive and having people help you. It's like, oh shit, like there are awesome people out there.
They're so good out there.
We've actually, one of our episodes talked about how miracles tend to happen because of good people out there, and how just one kind person coming up and saying, hey, you kind of look like you're having a bad, like a day that you need to talk about. And, I have a moment and I'm not a creep, but if you would like to have someone to speak to, you can speak to me, and like what that means to people. So yeah, no, miracles, we the bad that we're capable of is also the good, because it's the good people that also are able to bring that joy and euphoria to you without even knowing it. And they don't even realize the positive like light that they bring to other people's lives. Like Tommy over here.
I'm so happy person, Dad.
I think Allison we had a guest on Allison Robertson. She called those angel moments. And she's like, never overlook the angel moments, just a little bit of kindness that people show. And Marlene just explained that, how people are good there, and it helps the film get made. And I really like that you talked about the creative process, because even this is a much smaller scale than a film, but even a podcast, you book, you schedule, you talk, you flow, and then you edit, and then you post and you publish. And it's like that creative, we feel that creative thing. And then we have this product that's out there. It's like, okay, now we have a show with Marlene that we just did an hour with. So yes, so you're speaking our language here. And as I said, any creatives keep creating, because it's in you. It's obviously it's in you since you're little, and you just want to just create. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And we want to know about how you took a chance, because that's such a bold move when you left New York for LA. And I think you said you had $40 in your pocket, right? Can you tell us how that felt? And anyone listening, like, what made you take that chance?
Yeah, it was scary as hell, but I think when there's something inside of you and it's the thing that you're meant to do, and there's no B plan. You can't, even the thought of like, oh, I'll just get a stable job and do this, and this, like, it just wasn't, I couldn't even fathom that for my life. Like, I'd rather die than not live a life expressed. I think from an early age, I was kind of cognizant of, there's a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the number one regret of people on their deathbed was that they did not live the life they wanted to live. They didn't do what they wanted to do, and they weren't authentically themselves. And I think I always knew, like, it doesn't matter what risks you have to take or what you have to lose, but your only job in life is to be exactly who you were designed to be and go for what your heart wants. And whatever there is no plan B. That's what you do, So I didn't know anyone coming out to LA. I had never had connections, and I was kind of shy. Like, I'm always very confident in my talent and my filmmaking, but kind of shy as a person. And I hate asking people for things. But I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to take a risk on. I spoke up just because I believed in my talent. And so I came out and I called people, I called production companies. I spoke to people until eventually I got representation. And it's this whole thing with the rejection, and it's to learn to not take it personally and get chiseled away at. But you just keep stepping, because it's almost like this spiritual thing that's inside of you that guides you, that says, this is what you're meant to do. There is no other choice. There is no going off the rails. And you just keep going, getting rejected until someone helps you out and you get an opportunity, and you just do it.
And there will be those people. You will finally meet them. Colonel Sanders is one of my favorite stories of all time. And I never remember it detail for detail. I just know that he never gave up, and it was like 47 rejections or something, and he was in his 50s, and then he got that, like, yeah, let's do this. And he was divorced, like, thought his life was over, went through this like super depression, and his life just started, like, and he had no clue. So you never know what's around that next door. It doesn't matter like how old you are, what stage you are in life. Like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or a week from now. Somebody eventually, that's what happened. I think he was knocking on people's doors so that they could try his fried chicken.
Yeah, that's such a good story. Have you guys heard of this guy? I think his name is Jia Zhang. He did a TED Talk, and then he wrote a book called 100 Days of Rejection. And he was so devastated by the rejection he was getting trying to be an entrepreneur. He decided as an experiment to build his resiliency that 100 days, he would go out and do something that he knew he would get a no to, so that he could build resilience. And I read his book. I was so inspired by it, because I hate rejection. It's terrifying. And the fear of rejection stops us, and it stops me from a lot of things. And I read that book. I was living in Queens at the time at my remote office, which was Dunkin' Donuts, this crappy Dunkin' Donuts on the corner. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to do this. So I reached out to this guy I knew. He's like a millionaire. And I said, listen, I've got this web series I want to do. I need 5,000 for the next episode. You want to back me? And, it was going to be my first no. And he writes back to me the next day, hey, Marlene, can you meet me at Starbucks in Midtown? Let's talk about this. And he writes me a check.
Yes.
When I got my and he funded the next 3 episodes, and that's how I got my web series, the So You Don't Know, funded. That whole, and it's the thing. Like, think about all the chances we don't take, all the risks we don't take because we're afraid of rejection, And the point is to lean into the fear, like to hit the gas, to go anyway. That's kind of what I learned.
You went in expecting no. That's
Yeah. I feel like sometimes like certain things just happen and kind of lay out in front of you and you don't realize it. When you're supposed to be on that certain path, it kind of just like falls into place the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. And it's like right before this, I just had a call with a potential investor for this film I'm trying to make, and very nice. And I thought it was going to be a yes at the end. He's like, yeah, this is not really something I'm into, but let's stay in touch. And it's just that feeling that you get, like the elevator floor dropping out and you just fall thousands of feet, like that happens so much. And it's like, it's so hard because I just want to do what I love doing, which is make a movie, but I can't without, I need $350,000 for this next film. And it's this faith that you have to draw out of your ass, to keep going. Like, okay, that's a no, but somehow I'm going to get it, but I don't know where it's going to come from. It's hard.
It is, but you end up just going forward because eventually you get where it is that you're meant to be. Beyond a doubt. I am like a firm believer in that.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything always works out the way it's supposed to. And all the cards always line up like they do. No matter, you just have to be positive, and I feel like have faith, and it all kind of works out.
That's true. Like in the end, when you look back, it's like, oh, everything was okay. But in the moment,
okay. Yeah. Like in the moment, you're like, oh my God, this sucks. It's not going to work. But everything always works out. And that's what I always tell my kids and everyone, of just like, everything always has its weird way of just working itself out. You just have to, I feel like as long as you're positive, I feel like everything does kind of.
How do you stay positive when there doesn't seem to be a reason to be? Do you know what I mean? How do you do it?
I feel like because I just have faith that it always does. I've been through some pretty messed up stuff and just in my life. And I lost my husband at a young age. I had babies and stuff, and I was in it, but like you can only go up. No matter how far you go down, like there's only up that you can go, and like stuff gets bad, but it also gets better. And I feel like just having faith and being positive, as long as you're just like putting good out there, good will come back.
I love that. You can only go up.
Yeah.
If I may, I think every day it's very important when you wake up, you say, okay, I get to be here. I get to do this. I get to fuck up, but I get the opportunity to have opportunities. And I think it sure beats the alternative. So you just go, you just go.
Oh my God. I have to write that down. I get the opportunity to have opportunities.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. I'm writing it down.
Only take it.
Well, yeah. So Tommy likes to tell. So we all have like these like roller coasters and rabbit holes that we go through, and Tommy likes to bring up the perspective of it, and being able to look at something instead of saying I have to pick up my kids. I get to pick up my kids.
Yeah.
I have to make this 2 p.m. meeting. I get to.
Right.
Yeah.
Because not everybody gets those opportunities. I have to pay this bill. No, I get to pay that bill.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I was just watching this video that Joe Dispenza did. Do you guys know who he is? Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about becoming supernatural, rewiring your neural pathways for happiness and success and stuff. And the brilliant thing was, it's not about getting what you want. It's about who you have to become to get what you want. And it's so brilliant. Like, if you think about it, the big prize is not getting the money that you always wanted, or let's say getting the films made, but who you become in the process. So I think for me, like, I buy lottery tickets sometimes because I just want to win like, a few million, I'll be set. But the fact is, if I won that money, I wouldn't have had to reach out to so many people, even reach out to you guys as a podcast to try to, I wouldn't have gotten to meet you. I wouldn't have gotten to connect. I wouldn't have gotten to see what I'm made of in this journey and become more powerful, become more resourceful. I would never know myself as that if I just had the money. So the real prize is who you become along the way. I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
It is. It definitely is. I was 7 months pregnant with my 5th child and lost my job.
Wow.
I had nothing coming in. I did not have a partner that was paying for anything, so I had to figure my shit out. And I thought, well, what have I done all of these years? And what I had done was sales for everyone else. I was always making other people money. So I started my own business, doing what I had been making other people money doing. And I had originally tried to hire other people, and nobody really wants to take a chance on you when you don't have a guaranteed set. Like, oh, I can give you this much. We kind of have to work together to build something because I'm working on it. So I had to do everything by myself and I built this, and all of a sudden I was able to pay my bills.
Wow.
And I was able to take care of my kids, and I was able to have my son and not worry about whether or not they were going to have a roof over their head or be able to eat. And those were all of the things that I had to stress out about from the minute I no longer had an income.
It's crazy, like how sometimes life, when it throws you to the floor, it's only at that moment that you suddenly spring up, and you realize what you're made of. It's those moments, right?
Yeah, it is. And the people that you have around you and that are able to see you start to fall apart and are able to kind of build you back together and kind of hold you together until you can build yourself. Not that they hold you together and you're able to rebuild yourself into what you need. And they're just there to support you. I am lucky enough to have been blessed with a very good tribe. And you are looking at a lot of them right now.
Awesome.
So it's definitely not just about the energy that you're putting out there. It's also who you have around you.
Yes. True. There's a book called Atomic Habits, and he habits of, and I think the top habit of successful people is surrounding themselves with the right people, inspirational people, good people. Yeah, it's so important.
Well, it's hilarious too because I rented a suite at a concert, and I had a bunch of people that I know come together. Not all of them knew each other, but they all knew me. And the one thing that I remember from that being the funniest thing was, your people are so not you. They're nothing like you. And I go, you mean they're mellow? And they're like, yes, every single one of your people are so like mellow. And I go, you think I could freaking manage one more of me? I am all over the place. I am the one that where'd Audrey go? Ah, shit, we lost Audrey. Like, I am that one. I can't handle more than that being around me. So if I surrounded myself with a bunch of me's, I would be lost all the time.
Yeah.
The people you put around yourself are definitely a big part of like how you are able to be successful later. Because if there was no one going, well, Audrey'd probably be like a kite. She'd think she's a kite and like be flying in the air somewhere. You just definitely surround yourself with good people, and
Definitely
support you and pull you back.
Yes.
Yes.
So Marlene, do you have like a Kickstarter going, or are you?
Yeah, it's I've partnered with a nonprofit called From the Heart Productions, and so all donations are tax deductible, and it's you can access it through my website, which is marlenerhein.com, MarleneRhein.com. Yeah.
Are you on social media? Are there other platforms?
Yeah.
To reach you on?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram, Marlene Rhein, and Facebook, and yeah.
Okay. Did we get an email that people can reach out to you? That was the Marlene.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show.
That was your website. Okay.
I have the email. I'll put that in the show notes. And how far along are you in the process?
We just kind of starting out.
Gotcha.
So still, looking to raise $350,000, but anything towards that is definitely helpful. But still.
Are you going to shoot while you're fundraising and try to raise all the money?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to raise the money first, and it's going to be a 13-day shoot in LA, hopefully this summer.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Are you based in LA now or New York?
In LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stood out there. You just came back for.
Well, I came out here initially like in 92, was out here for like 10 years, went back to New York for almost 20 years, and then came back again 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a I still have not been to California, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, I love California.
I want to go so bad.
Yeah, you got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
A lot of beautiful things. I don't know about LA. I mean, it's nice. Like the state is beautiful and the weather's nice and being by the ocean, but it can be very isolating. Everything's spread out. It's not like New York where you're in the city and there's people and you're walking around and you're part of life. It can feel, you have to make an effort to kind of connect with people out here,
I was more of a Northern California person. I lived up there for like a year and I loved it. I'm more of a nature person and hiking. So I loved the mountains and the beaches up there.
Nice.
Yep.
Where were you in Northern California?
Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in Santa Cruz. I was in San Diego for like a month. My sister actually lives down there now, so with my niece. But
Cool.
Yeah, LA is super cool.
Beautiful
You just it's very spread out, like Marlene said, and you have to drive everywhere. And go see your friends. You're driving somewhere. It's not like you're walking or taking the train or taking the cab. You're driving everywhere. That sucks.
Yeah.
The traffic's terrible. But Audrey, you should go.
I want to.
it looks terrible, but no.
I do. I want to because I want to see the water and I want to see. I want to be able to experience it.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to keep saying I've never been there.
And Marlene, we've had some just friends we've met through the years, and some people we've had in the show are actors, LA based. So maybe we can maybe there's some synergy there where we can connect you with some people. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, that'd be nice.
absolutely. Well, again, it's your website is Marlene Rhein, like rhinoceros.com, right?
Yeah, so it's so spelled. Yeah, it's Marlene and then RHEIN. Yeah, .com.
All right. And if anybody's interested, check her out. Check out her work. She's worked with Tupac and Amy Winehouse and made some films. And you're an actor, dancer, writer, director, producer.
Yeah, I don't really like the producing part. It's just sort of out of necessity, but I guess, yeah.
That's
You
the
wear
work.
many hats.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's the work part that nobody sees, and everybody, wants to be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on with us. And
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
we loved hearing your story. We can't wait to see what else you're going to do.
Thank you. And can I just say I'm going to write the words on this whiteboard I have over here. I get to have opportunities today. I'm going to
I know. I feel like that should be the rule for this episode.
Yeah. What you got, Tommy?
Yes. Yeah, I mean think about it. Like think about how
Write it down,
awesome.
Tommy.
Not dependent on it going any particular way, not dependent on whether this happens or that happens. Just the fact that you get to have opportunities, like that being the gold,
Yes.
Yeah.
How awesome.
It is.
And we're going to use that thoughts are there for consideration only, too, because that was pretty powerful. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
sometimes
That's a good one.
we run away with our thoughts and you hang up on them. Especially we have two OCD folks here, and ADHD folks, and so we don't want to.
I think of thoughts as like sushi on a conveyor belt, those places.
Yeah.
And it's like your thoughts are like the sushi. Like, do you want it or not? I'll put it back, send it away. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't use that one.
I like the thought conveyor belt.
Yeah.
The thought conveyor belt. No, thank you.
Choose it. Yeah. You don't have to have that thought, I'll
Awesome.
do that.
We love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was great meeting you.
Great meeting.
We know you have a heart out, so thanks for coming on, Marlene, and we look forward to what you're doing.
Thank you so much, guys. All right. Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
day.
You too. Bye.
1, 2, 3, 42.
Rule 42 is hosted by Audrey Cruz and Jen Burke. It is produced and edited by Tom Smith. The opening song is Rule 42 by Eddie Carr. Rule 42's artwork was created by Aubrey Cruz. And I'm your announcer, Molly Smith. Thank you for listening to Rule 42. We hope you enjoyed the show. New episodes premiere every Thursday on all podcast platforms. Please subscribe, share the show, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple.